Hello, hello. Surprise. This is like a ninja stealth attack, isn't it? These live streams that I can't seem to plan them because it's just too stressful. I don't like planning things, as anyone in my family will tell you. Um, so what I try and do is go live whenever I have a spare few minutes. And here I am in my lovely Reading room with terrible hair. And I've just taught a lesson. And then I had a meeting about how to market the Alexander technique. And this video today is all about my hair. No, actually, it's about the voice. So I've got a pupil, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, but I've got a pupil who wants to basically make their voice better. And they got a load of recommendations for great singing teachers, and people who could, really get them back on track. And I, of course, jumped in. This was on a music forum, saying that, well, I think the Alexander technique is the best way to improve your voice. So we've had a couple of lessons, and already they have found things that they are doing to do with their posture that has surprised them. So they didn't realize that, sitting on your sitting bones is sometimes more comfortable than leaning back or slumped into a chair. I've got this nice squishy sofa here today. Leaning back like that is fine, but your lower lumbar is giving into gravity and it's actually curved like that. So it's fine, but that's why your back, mine certainly does, your back hurts when you go to get up. So it's little things like that. So, for instance, you can just free your neck and then follow your head forward and up, and then reposition yourself on your sitting bones. And this pupil seemed to wonder, without wanting to, dismiss me completely, when we were going to get round to the singing. And that's a common thing, and I fully understand because I'd want to get to the singing as soon as possible as well. But my answer was that there is very little point in doing a whole bunch of singing exercises if your equipment is not functioning as well as it could. It would be like if you had worn brake pads or worn tires on your car. There would be no point in driving 90 miles an hour down the motorway, which is illegal anyway, kids, don't do it. But there'd be no point in doing that because the equipment that is designed to make the journey safe and secure is wearing out. So if you then go full pelt on faulty equipment, then the equipment doesn't have any kind of safety margin at all. And then what happens is the equipment breaks. So if you had posture, and this is an exaggeration, if you're pulling your head back like that, if I pull my head back, you can instantly hear that my throat is constricted, like a lemmy. Ace of spades, the ace of spades, which is great if you want that kind of nice husky sound. Or if you want to sing like this, you can kind of squish your larynx down into your throat and look a bit like Jabba the Hutt at the same time. And the problem with all these things, and that's an exaggeration, but if you're doing those things even slightly, if you're tipping the head back in an effort to stand up or have good posture, I can hear it now. I can feel it. I can feel that my larynx is being compressed a little bit. Whereas if I find that nice tipping balance again, I can feel all of a sudden that there is a nice open space in my throat, and that my voice box, which I think sits around here with my Adam's apple, this whole area then has more space to do what it has to do. It's like if you if you're trying to water the garden and someone tries to stand on the hose or stands on the hose, or there's a kink in the hose, the water flow slows down because the apparatus is restricted. So you've got this whole thing. You've got the windpipe going down into your lungs, the big bellows, the breathing apparatus. You've got, if I show you a bit further down, you've got diaphragm under your ribs. And all of that stuff needs to be at its fullest working capacity. Gosh, I hate my hair. And so this pupil of mine, we spent a couple of lessons identifying things. So getting them more familiar with their bodies, just so they know, oh, look at me, I'm slouching. I never realized to do that. Or, oh, look, I didn't realize I'm pulling my head back when I stand up, or I didn't realize that this is happening. So next time, I think we meet, we will start to do something like humming or breathing, looking at the breathing. There's a thing called the whispered R that we do, that Alexander himself invented, because he started out as a breathing expert, because he invented this whole technique because he was losing his voice, and he realized that he was doing things like tipping his head back and lowering his larynx and taking big gulps of air. And he was doing this on stage so that, he could have a big kind of presence. He loved doing Shakespeare. And so, of course, it wasn't happening when he was off stage because he was being normal. But on stage, he was doing all this stuff. So nobody could tell him why he was doing it or what he was doing to lose his voice. They just said, oh, give your voice rest. And nowadays, what they do is they operate. So they say, oh, you've got something wrong with your vocal cords, you've got nodules or something like that. We'll just whip them out. And then what happens is that if you've still got those habits that led to vocal damage, and anything like that happens as a result of poor use, if you've still got those habits after the surgery, then they'll come back or your throat won't heal. So that's why we get the basics going. And I remember when I was on my training, I really I thought, oh, I'll do some grades. I'll be a grade 8 classical singer. And I went to see a singing teacher, and she got me doing she was obsessed with my shoulders going up when I breathed in. And your shoulders do go up when you breathe in because your rib cage is going up and your shoulders sit on your rib cage. But obviously what I wasn't doing was this. You see, deliberately putting my shoulders up. But if you breathe in, your shoulders go up and down. So I ended up, after seeing this, very apparently highly qualified singing teacher, the following week, my voice completely went because she was getting me doing all this stuff. And I was already in the middle of training as well as an Alexander Technique teacher. So then I contacted another teacher, Alexander teacher, who is known for singing as well. She taught at the Royal College of Music. And I said, could you get me up to grade 8? Blah, blah, blah. I already sing. And she said, Alexander Technique first. Get the use going first. Absolutely. And then we'll work on the singing. So she's got the confidence as a many, many more years Alexander teacher to say, that's it, we're not doing anything until you do it right. I do remember one day on my course, my colleagues were saying, oh, bring your guitar. And one of the teachers, bring your guitar. I think she was just really interested to see how musicians played. So you've got the whole stimulus of being given your guitar and you just want to grab it and start playing. So they worked on me, and bit by bit, they got me going. My neck was free and all this. They put the guitar around me, and I started playing as if, with as little pressure on the strings as I could get away with. So trying not to clench and trying not to dig in with that hand and everything. And then they kept working on me and making sure that my use was good and my neck was free and my hips were free and my knees were free. And somebody videoed me or us at work. And as I keep singing and getting better at my use, my voice, and I could feel it at the time, my voice just started resonating, booming. And it's, we had a nice village hall to practice in with good acoustics. Just felt incredible. Like there was no limit to my voice, that, it could just go without end. And you get that wonderful freeing feeling when certainly if you're lucky enough to be in a big theatre, if you can sneak in. I've been in big theatres, not under my name, but with like the Bowie band and things. You get in there, you stand on the stage and you project to the whole theatre. It's really quite wonderful. Hi, Sally. It's very liberating. The other time I've had a really liberating experience was busking in Cardiff High Street, when you could just sing down the length of the high street. And I earned about £12.50, but that wasn't the point. Nobody actually gave a flying fig whether I was there or not. So I could just get away with singing uninterrupted and focusing way down the streets. Like if you're in a big hall, you can focus way to the back of the hall and beyond. So the point I was trying to make to my new people yesterday was that like golf or anything like that, it's mind over matter. Hi, Marion. It's mind over matter, and it's all you have is your mind over your matter. FM said this work is the most mental thing you can do. It gets branded alongside physical therapy. So it gets branded alongside, massage or physio or Reiki or something like that. But actually, it's like psychotherapy for the body. All you have is your thoughts and the way they manifest themselves in the body. So if when you're singing, and this is another interesting point raised for that pupil and a few other people I've talked to recently, is when you press record, you can get red light fever. I don't know if I get it or not, because I've always been singing. I was doing some singing yesterday, and the only thing I was nervous about was doing high parts at 9 a.m. But again, that was a mental thing, like, oh, it's 9 a.m. There's no way I'll be able to sing up there. But I did, and I just thought, well, who cares? Because I can just keep redoing it. So this new people, they are scared of losing their voice halfway through a take, or not being able to do more than one take because their voice is so fragile. So they press record. They get more nervous about getting it done in one take. And then, of course, the nerves manifest themselves in, they won't even be aware of it, of a kind of compression. So they'll be like, oh, must get it right. They'll start to stiffen their neck maybe, or compress their shoulders, or their armpits will clench or something like that. And then, of course, that makes it worse. So, which is why if you sing in a studio, they'll go, okay, we'll just do the first one for level, just to make sure your headphones are all right and you can hear yourself and all that. And actually they're recording, but they won't tell you that. A decent engineer will press record because that first take, before you think that you're being recorded or that you have to perform and you think it doesn't matter, is often the best performance, because you don't care how it comes out. It's when you introduce something like the pressure of recording or being in front of an audience, is when all those nerves and things start to affect you. Hence, Alexander back on the stage, he had so much riding on his performances, and this is the start of the 19th century. They didn't have PA systems or anything like that. And he was in like the Australian outback, they were just starting to make these little towns and have theatres and things. And he was desperate to be liked. So that's why he would adopt his best Shakespearean stance and do all this, and then his voice would be ragged. So that's what I want to say about the voice, really. Now I know that there's two of you watching me, is when I started to get nervous. I was fine before I saw people in the chat. So you see how insidious this is, and I'm hoping people will watch this afterwards. And as they say, if you like it, do please subscribe, but you'll watch it if you subscribe. Anyway, I don't know how that stuff works, and I don't care. But anyway, yeah, the voice is affected by nerves. It's affected by anything, stress. Teachers particularly suffer from strained voices because they're yelling all the time at little kids. If you like to chat at parties, your voice can go because you're excited about being at the party. There's all sorts of reasons why the voice can go funny. And it is psychophysical, no doubt about it. Even before I was training in the Alexander technique, what I knew about singing coaching was that it was visualization. So you visualize where your voice is coming out of your face and your lungs, the mask, the whole resonator structure and all that. And then you visualize where you're projecting to, and then you visualize the person you're singing to, whether they're in the room or not. And all these things make for a better performance. And so, so that's why we start with the basics. Scales and arpeggios, as my violin playing teacher trainer, Ron, used to say. Scales and arpeggios. Go back to basics. Check whether your neck is free, whether your back is narrowed, whether it could be freer, whether you're sitting on your sitting bones. Go from there, take a moment, pause. So now when I got better trained, I would be gigging regularly. And instead of crawling onto the stage and being terrified, I would feel much more able to walk on, stand in my spot, get my guitar on, look the audience in the eye, and just take a moment. It only takes like an upbeat, feet on the ground, widen, lengthen, stand tall, and then start singing. And that's when you get to be a better performer, when you're not nervous, when you can take control of yourself and the situation. And yeah, I think I'm repeating myself now. So I want to do some more talking about the voice. It's why I started training on the Alexander technique. I want to do some podcasts talking about singing with some singers that I know. I've started with one who I happen to be related to. And I think there's a lot to say on the subject. So if you have any comments about singing, or whether you'd like to know anything in particular about singing, when you come to watch this video, do leave a comment down below. Also like and subscribe, and stay in touch, man. And yeah, have a great day. Go and sing a song. Join the karaoke, join a band, go busking, sing happy birthday as loudly as you can, whatever it takes. It's good for you. So have a fabuloso day, and I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.